In this video, we're going to talk about Canada's second largest city and the most expensive one to live in all of North America. I am, of course, talking about Vancouver, British Columbia. And in this video, I'm going to talk about just exactly how expensive it really is. And of course, is it worth it? Is it fun? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it safe? So stay tuned because I'm going to get into the good, the bad, and the ugly about the top pros and cons about living in Vancouver, British Columbia. My name is Dan Wertel, and for the past 6 years, I've been helping people just like yourself make the move into Vancouver. I've lived here for 27 years across 4 different neighborhoods and have lots of great insights to share on what it's like to actually live here and how it's evolved over the years. For everything Vancouver real estate related, this is a great channel as I release new videos like this every single week to help people like you understand what's happening in this ever fast changing real estate market. As a real estate agent here, I want to help you make that move. So if you've just started your search or you've already decided that Vancouver is the place for you, well, just shoot me a text or give me a call. You can also book a Zoom call one-on-one with me. Just click on the Calendly link below and I will help make that process of moving to Vancouver super smooth for you. So let's get right into it, and we're going to start with the 10 cons of living in Vancouver. The number one biggest con about moving to Vancouver is, of course, home prices, the one you've probably heard about the most. So in this video, I'm going to be referencing the Greater Vancouver Regional District when it comes to average prices. It's also referred to as Metro Vancouver. And I'm going to put the map up here so you can see which areas I'm talking about. And for reference, if you're familiar with the Toronto area or the GTA, Metro Vancouver, it's about a quarter the size. Metro Vancouver covers a fairly large area and of course a number of different cities within it. But keep in mind, this is top level just to give you an idea of what it's truly like to live here. So I'm going to give you an average of all those cities combined. I'm recording this video in January of 2023, and as of today, the average 1-bedroom home in Vancouver costs $588,000. And when it comes to size, 1 bedrooms in Vancouver average around 650 square feet. Some of the older wood frame homes, of course, can be larger, and some of the brand new builds can definitely be smaller. But again, you can expect a 1-bedroom home at 650 square feet to come in at around $588,000 on average. Looking at 2 bedrooms now, the average 2-bedroom home in Greater Vancouver, $849,000. These are going to range anywhere from about 800 to 1,200 square feet, sitting around 1,000 square feet average. But again, $850,000 is basically what you're looking at to get into a 2-bedroom home in Vancouver. Moving up into the 3 bedrooms now, the average 3-bedroom home in Vancouver is in the 7 figures, $1,230,000. You can understand why the extra space is great, but the cost becomes a little bit prohibitive. Those 3 ranges are largely for condos, where some people may want to look at the townhome or maybe a half duplex option, right? These are going to be ground level, you get your own separate entrance, they often come with no strata fees, and those come with a different price point as well. So sometimes they're 2-bed, sometimes they're 3, sometimes they're 4, but your average townhome or duplex, $1,191,000. So just a little bit off the condo price. And if a detached home is the only way to go for you, well, you'll need a little bit more money to get into those. Averaging right now, your typical Vancouver detached home, $2,006,000. Yep, we are over $2 million to get into the average detached home in GVRD right now. So we are talking about averages there, and I will say there are lots of fantastic and emerging neighborhoods that don't come with such a high price point. So if you are considering this move, work with a great realtor, because people like myself can get you into fantastic neighborhoods that have all the perks of the ultra luxury areas, but don't come with quite the high-end price tag. So lots of great areas to explore, can get you near transit, schools, work, everything that's important to you. And again, get you into a better price point so you don't have to worry about maybe paying $2 million to get into a detached home. There are other options here. So understandably, price point is the number one con about Vancouver when it comes to homes. They are incredibly expensive, and it is one of the biggest inhibitors of getting people to move here. The second biggest con about moving to Vancouver is actually the rental rates. So if you were thinking about moving here and saying, okay, well, I don't need to buy and spend all that money, I'll just rent. Well, as of today, again, January 2023, current rental rates have recently hit an all-time high. And realistically, there's not much downward pressure on pricing right now. So these high rental rates are looking to likely continue for at least the immediate future. So what do these rates look like? Well, Greater Vancouver, 1-bedroom condos right now, those ones that cost $588,000 to buy, Well, they cost $2,550 per month to rent. So pretty hefty price tag for a single person to cover every single month. So if you need to move up to a 2-bedroom, maybe you're a young family, maybe you need that second bedroom as an office, maybe you've got a baby on the way. Well, 2-bedroom condos right now, $3,580 per month to rent. And for those of you looking at a 3-bedroom option to rent, you are now upwards of $4,500 per month to rent a home of that size. I'll also share that right now, rental inventory is very low. So you're often competing to find those really nice places, meaning there's actually been bidding wars lately on paying higher than advertised rental rates. So definitely something to be aware of. And also, if you are looking for placement services, I have a fantastic team member who specializes in just that. I can get you really good homes without all that stress of competing. The number 3 con of living in Vancouver is the high cost of living. So yes, outside of buying a home and rent, guess what? Everything else is pretty darn expensive here as well. The average monthly cost for a single person to live in Vancouver right now who is renting a home is $3,950 per month. And that's just basically getting by. That means you need a salary of $65,000 annually just to hit the basic standard of living here in Vancouver. Jumping up to a family of 4 now, you're gonna have to make sure that you've got $8,500 per month set aside for your living here. If you've got a vehicle that requires gas, well, guess what? It's the highest in Canada here. Yeah, we pay about 10 to 20% more than the rest of the provinces nationally here in BC. Groceries are exceptionally high here as well. If you choose to shop at a place like Whole Foods, for example, one bag, and this is not without going on super high-end stuff, but one bag, you're basically looking at about $100 to fill up. And if you're looking at more your Save On or Safeway type of grocery store options, you're gonna have to spend upwards of $75 just to walk out of there with one full grocery bag. British Columbia also comes with a provincial tax called the PST. It is an additional 7% on your goods and services, so keep that in mind for your budgeting. Also, let's talk about phone plans because they are pretty ridiculous here. My phone plan, yes, I'm a real estate agent, I'm on it all day long. I spend upwards of $250 a month for my plan, but okay, maybe I'm not the average phone user. The average bill here in BC right now, $114. And I know our friends or anyone from Europe or Mexico looking at this right now is laughing, saying, how do you possibly pay that much? But yeah, the average is upwards of $114 now just to have a phone. The number 4 con about living in Vancouver is the traffic. While we are a comparably smaller city to many in North America, Vancouver still has rush hour and still gets absolutely locked down in a gridlock format, especially downtown. If you try to leave or go end to end in downtown Vancouver during rush hour, which really we're only talking about a downtown core that's 20 blocks by 20 blocks wide, it can take you at least 30 minutes to go end to end, anywhere between, let's call it 4 and 6 p.m. Monday to Friday. For people that are looking to work in the downtown core, but then maybe live in somewhere like Surrey or the Fraser Valley, your commute easily 60 to 90 minutes on a good day. That's not including any accidents or, of course, bad weather, because this city shuts down the second there's any snow, and even heavy rain can really add another 30 to 50% in time that it takes to get home. The Lionsgate Bridge is synonymous for gridlock as well because it's only 3 lanes, so they have to use alternating lanes to get people home on high traffic times. If you're on the wrong side of that bridge, you can expect upwards of 30 to 60 minutes in additional travel time for your voyage. I'll include parking in this segment as well because parking is getting really expensive. The popular areas of downtown are upwards of $6 per hour. And if you're looking to park for the day in, let's say, an underground parkade, $30 to $50 on average, and obviously way more in the high traffic areas. Even though that can kind of be worth it when you know that parking tickets are upwards of $50 to start now as well. Vancouver isn't known to have the best drivers either, and this is definitely exemplified in any bad weather, kind of like I mentioned earlier. Rain will really slow your travel time down, sometimes up to double, and snow, oh my goodness, give me a break. We just had a winter here where we had an inch of snow, 3 centimeters overnight, and basically the city shut down. I mean, schools were closed. I never saw a snowplow for a week, and the roads were just ice, and everyone was told to only have essential travel when necessary. So again, prepare for it. Definitely get winter tires if you have a car here, and just know that if it rains heavily or if it snows, that your travel time is double. The fifth biggest con about living in Vancouver is definitely the weather. We are known for our rain here. There are segments of rain where sometimes it'll go 30 to 40 days straight of rain. It feels biblical here. It can be really quite depressing when you have that much rain and that much gloom. I mean, really, it can rain here from basically September through to about March. It's a bit excessive, and I start to question why I live here in the dead of winter after seeing 30, 40 days of rain straight. It can drive you a bit batty. The weather can be bad as late as June. We often call it January here because it can be that cold that it feels basically like winter still. So you definitely want to be aware of that. Yes, the summers are pretty spectacular, and I'll get into that part in the pros, but overall, year-round, I mean, you're looking at maybe 3 to 4 decent months out of the whole year. And now, unfortunately, even in the month of like August, we're getting quite a bit of smoke coming over here from all the forest fires that have been happening. Last 3 of 4 summers, it was noticeably bad air quality. In fact, I think at one point we hit the first or second worst air quality in all of the world based on how much forest fire smoke was coming into Vancouver. So while that's not a guarantee, it has become a lot more common in the last 4 or 5 years. And as mentioned earlier, the second it snows, the city basically shuts down. You're on foot at that point to get all of your necessary groceries and whatnot. So Vancouver weather, definitely a con. The sixth con of living in Vancouver is for the parents watching this video, because the schooling and daycare here can have tremendously long wait lists and be very frustrating getting your kid into proper education and, of course, daycare. This is because Vancouver neighborhoods have become a lot more dense over the last 30 years, and yet the schooling and daycare systems have not kept up at the similar pace. The CBC News was recently told by the Vancouver School Board that 14 schools have a wait list, the same as last year, and this includes 9 of Vancouver's 11 elementary schools, basically in the Vancouver core area, and of course this includes all 4 downtown schools as well. Shifting to daycare now, there was a 2019 Metro Vancouver survey that showed there was 325,000 children in the area, yet only 60,000 daycare service spaces for those kids. That covers only 19% of the children in the area compared to the national average of 27%. So you can see where the problem is. The survey also noted that by this time next year, the amount of kids under 12 will grow to about 350,000. Con number 7 about Vancouver is our healthcare wait times. There is unquestionably a shortage of practitioners here in Vancouver, and definitely when you get further out into the suburbs and more rural areas. Finding a family doctor can take upwards of 12 to 18 months right now. And unfortunately, we're hearing horror stories about our hospitals and the wait times there. Yes, it's largely COVID driven, so we don't know when that's going to come back to a little bit more of a civilized nature. But at the time, there's a lot of surgeries being put off. But people that are showing up to emergency are often seeing wait times there as well. There have even been a number of horror stories recently about ambulance wait times, where people are waiting 6 to 12 hours just for an ambulance to show up. Yes, that's a little bit further out. We're still doing pretty well here in the greater Vancouver area, but again, something that we're obviously keeping an eye on because we're supposed to be known for great healthcare here. And as of today, it's been a bit of an issue. Con number 8 about living in Vancouver is that we're somewhat known for not being an area that is ultra easy to make new friends. Yes, this is a generalized statement, but it comes up enough that I thought it was worth addressing. Because Vancouver, while it's super diverse, a lot of people come here that move here from other countries, and they find it a little bit harder than it was, let's say, back home or in other countries to make new friends. So if you're moving here by yourself and you're looking to make new friends, you might have to put in a bit of extra effort, is kind of the consensus here. It is diverse, but it's also known to be rather cliquey, I guess. Again, super generalized, maybe you'll have a better experience, but overall, Vancouver's known to be a little bit harder to make friends than other countries or cities. Con number 9 about Vancouver is that it's very much considered to be a no-fun city. It's even called No Funcouver sometimes. And this comes largely from 2 areas. First, the music industry. There's even a documentary called No Fun City that documents Vancouver's war on music and nightlife. So we're not known for having spectacular nightlife, again, compared to a lot of other world-class cities. On top of that, Vancouver has canceled the Indy 500. We were supposed to have the electronic Formula 1 here. That didn't go through. All sorts of fireworks and large events have been canceled recently. It's not known to be the greatest city for public events. This is something that Vancouver has been known for a couple decades now, and while I think there's current politicians in place that are looking to improve it, don't come here thinking that you're going to get a world-class level of entertainment and options within the sort of public entertainment space. Con number 10 about Vancouver is our homelessness. There are an estimated 3,600 homeless people in our city right now, and they're largely concentrated on the Lower East Side, this one neighborhood called Main and Hastings, and it is a very, very sad state of affairs. There are people living on the streets in tents for blocks and blocks and blocks. It is rampant drug use. It is a very, very sad state of affairs, and it's been a problem for decades here. Homelessness is a global problem, and Vancouver is largely in the forefront because it is so visual here. It is largely due to, of course, the cost of living, and there's a lot of mental health issues here as well. And realistically, it's been a problem for at least 25 years. Again, there are politicians in place now who look to be a little bit more proactive and may work on finding solutions to help these people find homes. But again, it's something that when you come to Vancouver, you can't escape it. You're going to see the homelessness here. So knowing all these cons about Vancouver, why are people still coming here and paying $2 million for homes? Well, let's look at the top 10 pros about living in Vancouver. Pro number 1 about living in Vancouver is that we are multicultural and very welcoming. There are so many ethnicities that call Vancouver home, and of course we've been known for and have a growing LGBTQ+ community. Vancouver is also famous for its areas like Chinatown, Little Italy, Greektown. There are all sorts of neighborhoods here to make every person feel welcome. I would definitely say that diversity is celebrated here in Vancouver, and immigration, of course, is a big focus. In fact, in both 2021 and 2022, there were a record number of immigrants permitted into the country, and they look to beat that target in 2023. If you are looking to immigrate somewhere, Canada is welcoming people with open arms, and they're fast-tracking their residency status. In fact, PR, or permanent residency, can be granted in as little as 89 days here. And for those looking to become a citizen, it can happen on average in 16 months, so a relatively fast time frame. I've actually had a client who invited me to their citizenship ceremony, and it's a pretty beautiful experience. Pro number 2 about living in Vancouver is it is gorgeous. There is beautiful nature everywhere here. I mean, we're absolutely known for it. I mean, Vancouver is a coastal city where the mountains spill into the ocean. We've got 3 beautiful ski resorts here, all within about 40 minutes from the downtown core. And I will say that my very first time ever skiing at the top of Cypress Mountain in the middle of winter, where you can look down and see the ships in the ocean from the ski run, it's honestly pretty incredible. Stanley Park is world renowned and a must visit for all who come here. As someone who's lived here for 26 years, I still love going down to Stanley Park in summer and biking along the seawall. And another thing, our seawall is incredible. It hugs the coastline all the way from downtown Vancouver, basically out to UBC. It's an incredible ride, run, whatever you want to do. The seawall is definitely known as a highlight here, and you will see people flock to it in summer. The North Shore is absolutely spectacular and is a fun visit year-round. That is, of course, where our 3 ski resorts are. There are endless hiking trails, there's canyons, there's mountain biking trails. The North Shore is quite spectacular. Vancouver is also known for its clean, fresh air. We are surrounded by trees and greenery here, and so we have a very high quality of air here, and we get to see the blue sky very often. And yes, while the weather can be a downer, in summer, the city is absolutely spectacular. During the months of July and August, Vancouver really comes alive. Everybody comes out and enjoys the weather, the sun, the heat. We average about 25 degrees here in summer, and it is glorious. It is where you really appreciate the natural beauty that we have here. People will suntan on our sandy beaches. They can get spring skiing in the mountain. There's so much to do here, and summer is really the best time to be here, and pretty much worth going through those cold, rainy winter months. Pro number 3 about Vancouver is the job market. We have a very healthy job market here. In fact, looking nationally, there's over 900,000 jobs available, with the majority of those landing in, of course, Toronto and Vancouver. Vancouver is a huge tech hub as well. There's a lot of techies coming into the city now, and they can work at places like the new Amazon building or Microsoft. There's an abundance of jobs here, definitely in healthcare and education as well. Just prior to recording this video, I pulled up Indeed.com, and they alone had 33,000 job offerings in Vancouver alone. So if you're looking to come here and get employed, there is likely a job waiting for you here. Pro number 4 about living in Vancouver is that it is a very healthy city. I mean, this is where the yoga pant was invented. So when you come here, you will instantly notice how people really focus on their health here. As mentioned earlier, the fresh air brings people outside, where you will often find them running or biking along the seawall. The 3 mountains that we have for skiing are incredible. And of course, again, they are within about 30 to 40 minutes from the downtown core. They're open about 4 months of the year, and they offer a pretty wide range of skill sets and abilities for all types of skiers and snowboarders. When it comes to food, there's an abundance of healthy options, tons of vegan restaurants and vegetarian restaurants, and easy accessibility as well. There is great food across all of our cities here in Vancouver. For those looking for a yoga studio or a gym or Pilates studio, doesn't matter which neighborhood you choose, there's basically going to be one within walking distance. There is an absolute abundance in all of those. And if you would prefer the outdoors, again, the amount of hiking trails and bike trails here, I mean, you could pretty much live here for a year and do a different trail every day, no problem. Vancouver is also known for its golf courses, and there are many within probably a 5 to 15 minute drive from any city that you choose to live in. And of course, in our summer months, there are a number of public swimming pools that are quite gorgeous as well. As a bonus to the Healthy City Pro as well, I'm going to add in a little bit about the municipality of Whistler. See, Whistler is about a 2-hour drive north of Vancouver, because of course we measure distance in driving time here in Vancouver. And Whistler is a world-renowned ski resort that has basically become a year-round attraction for people globally. But being so close to Vancouver, a lot of locals love to utilize it as a getaway, as a quick vacation, as a place just to go explore and of course be healthy. Because outside of just the 2 side-by-side giant ski resorts, Whistler is also synonymous for things like biking, golf, food festivals, there's spas. There is an infinite amount of things to do basically, and again, all year round. It's close enough that you could even take a day trip up there, and the Sea to Sky Highway that connects Vancouver to Whistler is absolutely stunning. It's a largely coastal drive, and you'll definitely want to bring your camera because it's just beautiful from beginning to end. The 5th pro about living in Vancouver is that it is safe. It really feels safe here. Personally, after 26 years of living here, I've never been physically threatened once or even know anybody of my friends, colleagues, or workmates that have ever felt unsafe living here. Like any major city, yes, of course, there is crime here, yet typically it's not physical crime, it's more things like car break-and enters and petty theft. In 2022, there was a total of 13 homicides in Vancouver, relatively low number, and the vast majority of those were targeted. There is a bit of gang crime here, so again, the homicides were targeted and largely had no threat to the general public. Yes, there are a couple blocks that you may want to avoid, especially at night. I think that's fairly common, but again, for the vast majority of Vancouver, it feels incredibly safe. We have a really good police force, and living here is incredibly comfortable. Pro number 6 about living in Vancouver is that we have fantastic homes. And what I mean by that is, yes, while they are very expensive, there are so many well-built high-end homes, and of course within beautiful neighborhoods, that it makes it really, really attractive to be here. You see, living in, let's say, Kitsilano down by the water is one spectacular neighborhood with gorgeous homes. And that is very different than living in Mount Pleasant, which also has incredibly well-built and modern homes. So there's all sorts of different dynamics. So whatever you're into, there's going to be a neighborhood that suits your lifestyle. Let's include North Vancouver in this, because living in North Vancouver is a much different lifestyle than, let's say, living in the hustle and bustle of downtown. Wherever you want to live, you can basically expect great walkability, access to transportation, really good facilities, stores, cafes, and of course, your schooling systems. For the parents out there, pro number 7 is for you. Pro number 7 of living in Vancouver is that our educational system is exceptional. The Fraser Institute ranked 98 elementary schools in the Greater Vancouver district above an 8 out of 10. And when it comes to the secondary schools, there are 26 of them also rated above an 8 out of 10. The University of British Columbia is absolutely gorgeous and is ranked number 3 nationally, and is definitely known globally and attracts global international students. They are known for creating a high caliber of student and have a number of award-winning programs to choose from. There are, of course, also a number of fantastic private schools and multi-language bilingual schools. Vancouver is really, really known for its education. It is important to know what type of school that you're looking for when moving here, because you may need to move into the catchment, the area that the school's within, in order to get in, because they are so spectacular. They're also sought after. So it is important to have a bit of an educational plan when moving into Vancouver as well. Pro number 8 about living in Vancouver is the entertainment. And yes, I did call it a bit of a no fun city earlier, but realistically, there is still quite a bit to do in my opinion. Let's start off with the Rogers Arena. This is where you can see concerts, you can catch our local hockey team, the Canucks, and it's right beside BC Place, where they host even larger concerts. This is where our soccer team, the Whitecaps, play, and of course the BC Lions, the local football team as well. Those are both located deep in Entertainment District, where we also have a number of theaters. When it does come to concerts, you can expect most of the large global tours to hit Vancouver. We're a big enough city that artists can definitely sell out large arenas here. For those who love film, there is an annual Vancouver Film Fest that happens every fall. And for those of you looking for more of a nightlife style, the lounges, bars, nightclubs, 2 main districts for that. Of course, there's one called Granville Street that is essentially just a big long street of bars, lounges, nightclubs, and restaurants. And then let's not forget too, we've also got things like the high-end shopping district. And of course, we've got Granville Island, world famous for its shopping, and of course, being coastal, it is quite gorgeous too. So while you may need to look a little bit harder than some other places to find great high-end entertainment here in the city, it does exist. And of course, should you need to travel out to something like Seattle, well, hey, that's only 2 hours away as well. Pro number 9 about living in Vancouver is our transportation. We're known to be fairly good for our public transportation, especially with our SkyTrain that is also ever expanding. The rates are quite good, and it does cover most of Metro Vancouver. For the areas that the SkyTrain doesn't reach, we have an extensive bus program here, and that is always growing as well. A lot of our buses are newer and run very much so on a scheduled program, other than those snowy days, of course. Vancouver does have Uber. Yes, it took until 2020 to get, but yeah, Uber and Lyft are both here as well. And we do, of course, have taxis. Outside of that, Vancouver as a core is actually quite small and super easy to navigate. You can walk end to end, and it's also an incredibly bike-friendly city. We are known to have a lot of bike lanes and of course things like the seawall for bikes as well. So super easy commuter town, easy to bike to work, and depending on where you choose to live, a lot of people obviously walk to work as well. The last one I'll touch on for transportation is YVR. That is our airport. It is absolutely stunning. It wins awards basically every year. It runs very smoothly, and it's a pleasure coming and going from that airport. And here we are at pro number 10 about living in Vancouver, and that is definitely the food. We have incredible food here. We're a coastal town, so obviously our seafood is amazing, especially our sushi. Vancouver is known for its sushi, and there are incredible restaurants all across the Lower Mainland. Essentially, anything that you like, any type of cuisine that you like, you're going to be able to find, and it's going to be high quality. We're talking anything from Chinese to Greek to Indian, and of course, seafood and anything West Coast. I've traveled a lot around the world, and it is hard to find as much great food in one location as you can in Vancouver. It really is exceptional here, and we were just finally recognized by Michelin, where in 2022, 8 of our restaurants were granted the ever coveted Michelin star. So if you love food, Vancouver is definitely a great place for you to enjoy. So those are the 10 top pros and cons about living in Vancouver. If you would like to know more about what moving to Vancouver would look like for you, or you have questions about the process or specific neighborhoods, my contact information is below. Feel free to call or text anytime. You can also book a Zoom call with me and we can talk one-on-one about what you're looking to do here in Vancouver, as I'd be happy to make your move to Vancouver a smooth and enjoyable experience. Thanks again for watching.